Morning YouTube. This week I've got the keys to a 2017 Chevrolet Malibu. This is a 2017 Chevrolet Malibu. This one, the Malibu actually starts around 25,000 Canadian. This model here is 35,000 Canadian. It's got a few upgrades in it. Front end looks really good. Kind of reminds me of the Fusion a bit. Not quite the same, but the kind of same body style. It's an LT model. So that starts at 25, and then it has a bunch of safety features: blind spot monitoring, backup camera, and things like that. Lane departure, collision detection. And then it adds a sunroof, kind of a panoramic sunroof to it, which I'll show in a bit, and as well as leather in that inside. So that adds almost $10,000 to the price of it. It's a little bit oddly equipped because, like the Tundra I had a couple weeks ago, it doesn't have automatic climate control, which is a little bit odd at $35,000. But besides that, it seems to have everything I'd expect from a car in this price range. It's a nice looking car. Looks similar to the Ford Fusion to me. The front end's a little bit different, but the shape of it is very similar. In the trunk here, there's a camera here in the back, which you need to keep clean in the winter. It's a fairly sizable trunk. Hopefully you can kind of see it. It's a little bit sunny today, even though it's still cold. There is releases for the back seats right here, so I'll release this one. It's kind of weird because it doesn't feel like it's doing anything when you pull it, but you have to go around and it will open it up. Spare tire. That's the trunk, not much in there. And the arms will crush your stuff. So there's one thing to note. But it is a good sized trunk. Inside the back seat, we'll pull down that seat. It is 60-40 split. This side is your 40 side, and then your 60 plus your armrest with some cup holders, and it is leather seats, as I mentioned. That's an upgrade in this model. I'll move this and hop in. Map pockets on the back of the seats. Down at the bottom here, you've got your 12-volt supply, as well as a 150 watt house outlet and some USB jacks. So that's kind of useful if you got kids that are in the back, or you want to plug in a laptop for work or something like that. You don't have to get the adapter, and it's not a truck. Usually it's only trucks that have those, so they're starting to move them into cars. Give you a view of what the dash area looks like. Hopefully you can pick that up on the camera. The center display screen, I believe it's an 8-inch screen, 7 or 8-inch screen, is very bright, very clear. In the front, we've got this super bright screen, which is really nice. I'm going to start it up. You can kind of see how this works. It does have push button start, and it has a lot of bings that happen. So ice, possible, drive with care. A lot of binging going on. It's kind of annoying every time you start it. Alright, it stopped binging. So you have this nice infotainment display. You switch your audio, and it's very responsive, very fast phone. Navigation. You can send text messages with it as well. You can look at your inbox. My phone's not currently synced, I guess, because I just started it. There we go. Now my phone is synced. Go back to the text messages, and it'll download the inbox. I'll let that go. Android Auto is standard, so this is what you see when you plug in, at least when I plug in my phone. This is what I see. We got the time. If we go to navigation, you see your Google Maps, and use it just like your phone, which is really super cool. and really easy to use. You can go to your audio if you've got some Google Music, and then your phone, of course, as well. And you can get back to your Chevrolet MyLink by pressing that or pressing home. Either way, the home button is a lot faster. So go back to the text messages so you can scroll through your text messages, and you can reply to them with some canned messages. And it's got OnStar and things like that, and there's a bunch of settings, of course. Like any system, you've got a bunch of settings. One thing I haven't seen before, there's a rear seat reminder to remind you if you've got a child in the back seat to don't forget them whenever you get out of the car. Also, wanted to show here the rear camera, this bright screen, and it does show you where your car is going to go while you're parking. That's pretty cool because you can angle the car easily exactly where you want in between lines in the parking spaces, so that does make it easy to back up. As I mentioned, no automatic climate control, which is a little bit odd. It does have heated seats, 3 settings for both sides, and they do work really well. Move this out of the way. We've got a traction control here and your parking sensors, and it's going to be almost impossible to see with the camera, I think, but there is a 12 volt down here and 2 USB plugs, as well as auxiliary. The USB, of course, used for your Android Auto. There's a nice spot here. I've got one of those gigantic phones, and this is a big phone, and it fits nicely in this little hole, and it's rubberized, and it stays there. It doesn't move around, which is pretty nice. And there's a sizable bin here for your stuff. Hopefully you can see it. There's the panoramic sunroof, and it does have an automatic closing curtain. Push down the button once, it will close, and of course open. On the dash display, you've got your trip and fuel economy. This car also is equipped with auto start stop, as well as auto high beams, which is really cool. If you've not had a car with auto high beams, it really is nice. You just set your high beams on, and when a car approaches, the high beams go off. When you get to a stop sign, the high beams go off. It's really cool. You can cycle through. You can show your speed in digital form, as well as the analog gauge, oil pressure, coolant temperature, battery voltage, follow distance. So you can set follow distance on the cruise control. I'm not sure if I can set it when I'm not moving. No. So you can set that, and as well you have lane departure warning on this. Average speed, tire pressures, oil life remaining. So there's lots of stuff in there to look at, and there's lots of settings if you go into the settings menu. You can also see, there we go. Hopefully I can get in a little bit closer. You can see this. You got info, audio, phone, navigation. You can kind of show all these things right in here. I'll go back to audio. You can see that I'm listening to that radio station. So it's kind of nice. You can have whatever info you like on there. I tend to just leave it on the trip. I don't know, I'm obsessed with my fuel economy. So I'm getting 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers. I've had this car for about 4 days now. And this Malibu is powered by a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with a turbocharger. So it is a small engine for a mid-size car. It's, I believe, the smallest engine in mid-sized car in North America right now. And the other option is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, so there's no more V6 in the Malibu. Let's take it for a drive, and we'll feel what kind of power that little 1.5 gives you. So the 1.5 liter engine is 160 horsepower, 184 pound-feet of torque. So it is kind of reasonable power. The torque is what's good on the engine, even though it's only got 160 horsepower. In the city, the 184 pound-feet of torque is really nice to, you know, kind of accelerate around from stoplight to stoplight. To get on the highway here, it's pretty quick. I'm already up to 100 kilometers an hour. The engine doesn't make a ton of noise, and it's smooth. So that torque down low with the transmission, it's a 6-speed automatic transmission. It's, you know, it drives pretty good. I don't really have any complaints. I looked it up online. It said the 0 to 60 was 8 seconds, so that's pretty average. You know, the review I read actually complained that it wasn't fast, but you know, this is a mid-size family sedan. It's not a sports car, so I think 8 seconds is pretty reasonable. Out on the highway, there's very little wind noise. There's zero tire noise. I'm actually really impressed in the way this drives. It feels very solid on smooth roads. On the highway at 120 kilometers an hour, just over 2,000 RPM, you know, it feels really good. The brakes are good. Don't really have any complaints about the way it drives, other than one complaint. I do have one complaint, and I'll show you in a second when I find some bumpy roads. Hopefully you can pick it up. I'm not sure if the microphone will pick it up or not, but on these expansion joints and any kind of bumpy roads, if you're hitting potholes and things like that, the suspension is very clunky. So that is really my only complaint with the car. Why is the suspension clunking? Why can I hear that? I don't hear any road noise, I don't hear any wind noise, but every single bump is just clunk, 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 bang, bang, bang. Let's find a parking lot to do a final walk around here of this car. There you have it, 2017 Chevrolet Malibu. It's a good looking car. It drives really well. I'd say take it for a test drive on some bumpy roads though, because I did find the suspension a little bit clunky and annoying, but I drive a lot of cars. Maybe it's just something I'm used to, a softer suspension or a quieter suspension, I guess. It feels great. It just sounds bad. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll try to bring you some more cars.